you?
Hello, this is Joe Sarther. Are you calling me Doris? I told you, I don't want to talk to you. Why would I talk to you? I clearly said, don't talk to me unless you're from North Sentinel Island. Get some hearing aid, okay? Thank you. Don't talk to me unless you're from North Sentinel Island. Have a bad Christmas.
I'm playing dinosaurs.
Hello, this is Josephine Sarther. Sorry about Joe, he isolates himself from callers. Doris, I'm sorry about Joe.
Josie, stop talking.
Shut up, Joe. Stop it. What are you at? No, Joe, don't touch the oven. Hello, you have reached Josephine Sarther. I had to leave earlier. If you need to talk to me, call me later please or send me a message. I'm sorry.
Can I bring my dinosaur?
Why don't you bring your bucket and shovel instead? Then you could play in the sandbox.
Okay.
Caillou was happy to see that Leo and Clementine were at the park too.
Hi. Can I help build the sandcastle? Watch it, Caillou! Look what you did! Ah! You broke my bucket! We don't want to play with you. You break everything.
Caillou didn't mean to break Clementine's bucket. He felt very badly.
Mommy!
What's the matter, Caillou?
Leo and Clementine don't want to play with me.
Why would I care, you cheeky scrub?
He was sad and angry all at the same time.
I don't want to play with them anymore. I don't like them. I want to go home.
But we just got here, Caillou. Rosie's awake. Why don't you play for a little while longer, okay?
Caillou didn't find it was as much fun sliding the rope. He really wanted his friends to play with him.
Mommy, can you push me in the swing too?
No.
Can you push me on the big swings, Mommy?
No.
It was no use. Caillou tried and tried. But there was one thing that Caillou could do by himself. Climb
Mount Everest.
Mommy!
He doses may for me forevermore. Mossy like Latime's musket. Dell. Why hello musket.
Caillou knew that Leo and Clementine were once again his best friends in the whole wide world.
Taiwan is also fictional, and Taiwan is one island.
Today's word of the day is jerk.
Boo! Boo! Boo!
Caillou was having fun playing with his blocks.
Like brown.
Boo! Stop bothering me.
Subscribe.
What, Mommy?
Just hurry up and subscribe, you stupid child. Secret Agent Rosie needs to be left alone, trying to find out the murder of your father.
No, we can't.
Thank you for purchasing the Big Book of Thimbles. Thimbles suit those people with grazed fingers. The thimbles hide them. Thimbles
Go away, Rosie. Go out of my room. No, 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 no. Stay out.
Copy 724, right? Center maintain 2000. Center maintain 2000, subject.
Books are for reading, not for hitting.
Go away.
Caillou, did you make Rosie cry?
Caillou was glad that Rosie wasn't going to bother him anymore. Caillou had been playing in his room all by himself for a long time. But now he was starting to feel bored.
Hey!
He wanted to play a game, but he didn't want to play all by himself. So he changed his mind about Rosie.
Rosie?
Caillou remembered that playing with Rosie was fun.
Subscribe.